Hello, ladies and gentlemen, as guardians and mutants alike. Welcome to another Liam Maiden gameplay video. Back with more Marvel Strike Force today, where, as the title suggests, we're going to be looking at another of the best first teams for you to build if you're new to the game. Now, previously, I've made videos about the Defenders and how they're a good starting team. Now, that was a little while ago that I made those videos. The Defenders are not as great a team to be building now as they were when I initially made that video. I'll put a link in the top right hand corner for you anyway. You can still check it out because there is some good stuff there. I've also made videos about the Sinister Six, how they're a great first villains team, and the Brotherhood and how they're another option for a great first team to go for. But today, as the title suggests, we're going to be going cosmic. We're going to be looking at the Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, Guardians, it's another route to go for. It's pretty popular, I think, with good reason. There's a lot to like here, and of course, like the other teams that I mentioned, the Sinister Six and the Brotherhood, Guardians have the advantage in that they unlock a legendary in StarLord. Talk more about that in a minute. Let's take a look at the Guardians of the Galaxy. So many tags that we've got in game now, so many different ways to sort your roster, but Guardians is still there. If you scroll down for it, you can sort by Guardian. There they are. So that's all of them, including StarLord. We're just going to go through the basic team that you're going to build to unlock StarLord, and the person that we need to start with is Gamora. Now, I've been talking a lot about Gamora lately because post-rework, she is awesome. She went from complete zero. She was really the member of the Guardians team that you just pretty much ignored. You didn't want to build up at all, to absolute hero. She is right now one of the hottest, one of the best tunes in the game. That reason, even for no other, even if you're not really looking to build up the Guardians team, you're not really looking to unlock StarLord. I don't know why I can't say that today. StarLord. If you're not even looking to unlock StarLord, you should still be investing in Gamora. Now, that is, of course, because she's part of the Infinity Watch squad, and that's where you're eventually going to want to use her when you have those other members unlocked. I don't quite have everyone. I don't have Adam Warlock unlocked yet, so I'm subbing in Kestrel, as you can see here. But just a completely amazing squad. When you can unlock Nebula, Gamora and Nebula together are just a fantastic pair, even without Moondragon and Phyla-Vell. But with them, they're really something else. They can pretty much take on any squad. They're so overpowered right now, and a large part of that is down to the synergy between Gamora and Nebula. Unfortunately, Nebs does not have that Guardians tag, so we're not going to be talking about her today, but we are going to be taking a good hard look at Gamora because she is just so integral to how this Guardians team works now. So she's pretty much going to be carrying your Guardian squad. So even before you've unlocked Nebula, maybe definitely before you've unlocked, if you're new to the game, before you've unlocked Phyla-Vell and Moondragon, you're going to be using Gamora just with the other Guardians. You're definitely going to be using her to unlock StarLord. She's got this new ability when she becomes charged. When she gains enough charge, she becomes empowered, which just beefs up all of her assaults. She's really, really powerful. She's definitely going to carry your Guardian squad along, and for that reason, you really, really want to invest in her. So that means all the T4s. Expensive, but worth it. I've yet to fully invest in Flying Slash, or Requiem as it's called when she's empowered, but it is on my list to do so. She really is worth investing in. Top tier tune. Now, luckily, when they upgraded her, they didn't make her any more difficult to get, so you're going to be farming your Gamora shards from the Blitz store, 500 Blitz currency for 5 shards. Blitz is one of those currencies you should be blitzing every day, as many times as you can, so you should be able to purchase with the various kind of refreshes. The store refreshes about every 8 hours, so you definitely should be able to make at least 2 purchases, maybe even 3 purchases a day. So that's 15 Gamora shards, 10 to 15 Gamora shards a day. She's one of the easier characters in the game to actually star up, which is pretty amazing. Should talk about ISO 8 as well. ISO 8, so with Gamora I went with Stryker. Again, that's really more for the synergy that you get with the Infinity Watch team, really, so she can just be calling in Nebula for extra assists. But you know, it works fine with this Guardians team too, so I think Stryker, generally speaking, is a good ISO 8 class to go for on Gamora. So next up we got Drax, the tank, the protector of the squad. So not gonna lie, not as much to love here. Drax, I think, is, you know, he's a standard, I would say, kind of B tier toon. So, you know, good at his job in this squad, good at being a protector. So he's pretty cool. He starts off taunting immediately. So at the beginning of any encounter, he begins with a taunt. He's also got a taunt that he can throw up later as well, which gives him a bunch of other buffs, including counter attack. So he's a pretty good tank, and he will be very useful to kind of steer damage away from the other members, maybe the squishier members of the squad. So for that reason, ISO 8, I've given him Fortify. So you can see I haven't really upgraded it here, but you probably do want to invest in it just to give him that little extra bit of protection. T4s, so this whole team is going to be a little sparse on T4s. So we invested heavily in Gamora on T4s. There's nothing to invest in with Drax. Let me know down below if you disagree with that, if you're using Drax and you've had got a lot of utility out of those T4s. Personally, I don't see any reason to take him up above 6664. I'm not even there, as you can see right now. I'm only on 555.3, but really I would only kind of use Drax for the initial team, the initial Guardians team, and then for the unlock of StarLord. After that, so right now, for example, I do use him in a raid team that I have with some of the other Guardians, but generally speaking, not an amazing toon, though he is very useful as a protector. In terms of farming, Drax is also available in a store. We're going to be going to the Arena store to get our Drax shards. So cheaper than Gamora. She was 500 of Blitz currency. He's 350 in Blitz currency for 5 Drax shards. Now, Arena currency, you're probably not going to be as flush in Arena currency as you will be with that easy to come by Blitz currency. Arena, you're going to be fighting kind of minimum of 2 Arena battles a day, but it's all going to depend on how good your teams are, and especially at the beginning of the game, depending on, you know, who else is on your shard and really how much money they're investing in their squads. It can take a while to build up a decent Arena income, but you still should probably be able to buy at least 5 Drax shards every single day, so a relatively easy toon to get. Next up, we got Mantis. Now, Mantis is a controller. She's really there as a healer. That's her main function on the squad, although she's also got the cosmic. They all have the cosmic tag, but she's got the bio tag as well. Really, outside of this squad, later on, I find a lot of use with her in Blitz, because you can or in raids rather, because you can use her on any team where you need cosmic toons or where you need bio toons, and a healer is just always helpful. And for raids, again, I'm just using her on that kind of backup Guardians team with Drax. But initially, she's going to be very, very useful on that initial Guardian squad, really just for helping keep them alive, especially at the beginning as you're still building them up. And, you know, if this is the main team you're going after, you're going to be using them in Arena, so she helps everyone stay alive by redistributing health. Now, she also gets, as you can see here on Soothe, this ultimate ability, she also has a bonus in raids. So that's one of the reasons that I think she's very, very useful if you're using her with other bio or other cosmic characters, because there's the synergy here on this this ability in particular doesn't rely on Guardians. This is being applied to all allies regardless of the Guardians tag, so she's actually a very useful toon and well worth investing in. I've got her on healer, ISO 8. Again, unfortunately, yeah, she's a decent solid toon, but I don't see anything here to T4 in, so I don't think it's worth it. For farms, we're going back to the Blitz store. That's right, folks, right above Gamora there, you can see Mantis shards, also 500 Blitz currency for 5 of those Mantis shards. Now, in some ways, this is great, because Blitz currency, as I said, one of the currencies you're really going to be rolling in, so she's very easy to get those Mantis shards. But in other ways, it's a little bit of a drain because you're spending the currency on 2 characters, so you have to kind of work out you know, who you're going to go for. You're competing with your resources here. But it's kind of an embarrassment of riches, really. Not going to complain, because it makes her very easy to go after. If you do have a choice of going after one or the other, who you're going to max first, definitely you're going to go for Gamora. And of course, I should mention that all of the toons that we're looking at today, you're going to take them all to 7 stars ultimately, even though Gamora is by far the best, because you're going to want to unlock StarLord at 7 stars at some point. Next, we're on to Rocket Raccoon. Now, he's a blaster, of course. Could he be anything else with that giant gun there? And he's also got the tech tag. So again, with this team, we're always thinking about the other uses that you can put them to, and raids keep coming up again and again, and Rocket's going to be very handy for any raids where you need tech characters. Very, very useful. You can throw him in with power armor. There's just a bunch of options that you can use this character. But one of the most important things about Rocket is he has a ton of synergy with Groot. We're going to talk about Groot next, but Groot and Rocket really go hand in hand. So even though Groot does not have the tech tag, and there may be times when you use Rocket on a tech team and Groot isn't there, generally speaking I would try and put them on the same team even when you're not using them as part of the Guardian squad, because they just go together so incredibly well. So again, I've gone with Stryker here for the ISO 8, calling in those assists, especially going to try and get those assists from Groot, which he calls in anyway, so I think that's a pretty good ISO 8 class for him. And as you can see here, this is a great example, maximum damage here. His ultimate ability, you can see that it's got 260% damage, but if Groot is an ally, it attacks the enemy for 310 damage. That's an extra 50% damage just because of that team up there. Well worth it, plus you get this really cool, I just love that animation there. So definitely when you can, try and use these two on the same team. They're an awesome matchup. Again, no T4s for Rocket. Sorry about that, little buddy. Partly because there's nothing here that I think really warrants the boost. He is a really solid blaster, especially when you get that synergy there with Groot. So I just don't think you need to invest in them. If you can, you could maybe go for his ultimate, but increase his counter chances and things like that. But I don't think you need to. Now, in terms of where we're gonna get Rocket from, unfortunately, he is the only character on this list that is going to prove difficult because there is nowhere to farm him. He does drop from various orbs from time to time, but there's nowhere to farm him regularly, I should say. He does rove in and out of the raid store. So you want to be checking that raid store. It's a roving store, doesn't have any regular characters, rather different toons move in and out of it every single day. You do want to be checking it. The stores refresh every 8 hours, as I mentioned before, so you do want to try and check it 2 to 3 times a day. If you see Rocket there, you want to be buying him. He does appear relatively regularly, so I don't think it should be too difficult to unlock the little guy. Finally, we come to Rocket's partner in crime, Thor's friend, the tree, Groot. Now, Groot is a support, and he's actually he's pretty tanky, and so there's kind of overlap here. Apart from the great synergy that he has with Rocket, there's kind of a little bit of overlap with Mantis, because he also heals, provides death proof and various other buffs, and with Drax because he does have a taunt as well. He can be pretty tanky. Overall, Groot is a pretty useful toon. He really does have a lot kind of going for him, and he is worth investing in him. So far in this regular Guardians lineup, the only person we've thrown any T4s on have been Gamora, the reworked Gamora, and we've recommended that you throw 4 T4s on her. Groot is where we're going to spend our only other T4 on our base Guardians lineup. We're going to T4 his passive, I Am Groot, for extra revive chance. You basically get a 55% chance of revival after he's killed off, and he also is guaranteed to always apply slow to the enemy that attacks him anytime he gets attacked. So you're automatically throwing round debuffs onto the enemy, applying slow, speed down, and more than half of the time he's killed, he's going to revive. That T4 is worth it, and I do recommend spending it. Our 5th and final T4 on this basic lineup. Apart from that, a lot of Groot's other abilities, they're very cool. So Life Spores, for example, if we just click on that here, he's throwing around immunity to the lowest level Guardian ally for 2 turns, and he's also healing characters. That's pretty cool. I mean, it does heal all allies, but to get the full benefit from it, to get that full immunity, you really need to have the Guardians tag there. Death Proof's a little more forgiving. It does give that bonus to anyone regardless of the Guardians tag, whether it's present or not. And of course, Groot does have the Cosmic and the Bio tag, so I do definitely use him in raids and also in Blitz, but I generally speaking find less use for him than I do some of the other Guardians members, like Rocket and like Mantis, and definitely like Gamora, but still definitely worth investing in and still dropping that T4. So in terms of farming, Groot is the only character in this lineup that we can just straight up farm. His shards are available on a Nexus node, node, 2-9. It's a 16 energy farm, so it's not super cheap for the beginning of the game, but it's relatively easy to get to just at the end of Chapter 2 of the Nexus. So you can't start farming him right off the bat the way you probably will be able to with Gamora, Mantis, and Drax, for example. It's going to take a little while longer, but once you do open up this node, you can farm him basically as much energy as you've got. You can just keep refreshing and farming him every day. So there you go, that's the basic Guardians lineup. Of course, one of the reasons to farm the Guardians, beginning team or not, is so you can unlock legendary StarLord through the Space Ace event. I recently made a video about unlocking StarLord at 5 stars. I'll pop a link in the top right hand corner. You can check that out. StarLord is a legendary. He's not an amazing legendary. There's been a lot of power creep in the game recently, so he's not as useful as he maybe once was. Continually thrusting, of course, that's maybe slightly disconcerting, but he's still a pretty good toon. Generally speaking, once people unlock him, I don't see him being used with the Guardians an awful lot. I think that people tend to find utility for him elsewhere. I'm currently using him on a squad with various kind of Kree members and Captain Marvel actually at the moment, although it's not particularly powered up, so I'm really only using it for Blitz. But he is definitely a useful toon, and you may well want to use him with Guardians because he does have a ton of synergy with them. In terms of taking someone out, I'd maybe go for Drax or Mantis. Maybe Mantis has a home elsewhere, so it's easier to move her. Up to you. They're the two kind of weakest characters, or maybe you're just gonna replace Gamora because you're finally gonna move her over onto the Infinity Watch team. Either way, he is a pretty cool legendary and well worth unlocking. While we're here, we'll talk about T4 for StarLord because you're going to unlock him eventually. I do think it's worth dropping a T4 on him. The only one that I'd say is really necessary is improvisation. That's his passive. And putting the T4 in it just means that he generates extra energy for adjacent allies. Again, they don't need the Guardians tag, so that's really useful because you're trying to get Gamora up to empowered as quickly as possible. Also really useful for just feeding energy to other characters in general, so feeding energy to Captain Marvel, feeding energy to Minerva if you're using him on a Kree squad, for example. Other than that, I don't think there's a huge amount that you're really going to want to spend energy on in terms of his abilities here. Clever distraction, gets that dance party going, blinds his enemies, but it's pretty easy to resist, so I'm not necessarily sure it's worth investing in. It's a pretty cool animation though, so we'll give it that. In terms of ISO 8, I've given him a Skirmisher. That's the same ISO 8. I think I forgot to mention this. That's the same ISO 8 that I gave to Groot as well. Skirmisher helps characters throw around vulnerable, which all those strikers that we put on the team can really take advantage of, dealing that extra damage. So I recommend that for StarLord and for Groot. So there you go. That is the basic Guardians lineup. Gamora, Drax, Mantis, Rocket Raccoon, and Groot. They're pretty easy characters to farm. They have a lot of synergy. They'll help you unlock legendary StarLord, and you can use them in a ton of areas in the game. So many raids require cosmic characters, so many require bio characters, and of course by building up Gamora, you're building up one of the most powerful toons in the game right now and preparing yourself for the Infinity Watch. For those reasons, if for no other, I really think that it's an awesome first team to go for in Marvel Strike Force. But what do you think? Maybe you're new to the game, you're thinking about which team you're going to go for first, and you're mulling over Guardians as one of your options. Did this video help with that decision? Let me know down below. I'd love to hear from you one way or another. Maybe you are a veteran player of the game and you went for Guardians and you regret it. Again, thoughts, comments, criticisms, welcome down below. I'd love to hear how other people are getting on with Guardians and what they think of the team as a choice for one of the first squads to go for in the game. Well, thanks for being a part of this journey with me today. If you did find this video informative or entertaining in any way, please consider giving a like, a thumbs up down below. I really do appreciate it. And while you're here, why not consider subscribing to the channel? I drop new gameplay videos and guides like this one for Marvel Strike Force and Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes every single week, and every now and again I throw in some other games as well. I would love to have you along for the ride. That is all for Liam Maiden Gameplay today. I'll see you in the next one. In the meantime, look after each other. And remember,
we're the Guardians of the Galaxy.